All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back. You guessed it, we're back in Blairsville, Georgia at my friend Elliot Grafton's shop, 944 Barn. Surrounded by all types of 944s, 951s, 924s, 944 turbos, 968s, convertible 944s, other random cars, a variety of 944s here. If you guys are new to the channel, you haven't seen Elliot's spot yet, at least here on my channel, but we've spent a lot of time here. Following the last episode, we cleaned the E23 up, we did a fluid service on it. Well, this episode is literally piggybacking the last one. We got the fluids done in the E23 and decided to take it for a drive and shake it down. Well, I ended up on the phone with Elliot, and rather than just driving it around town for 20 miles to work the additive and the diff in and all that, we headed 2 hours to Blairsville because he's got wheels that I might want to put on the Auto Union. I've been searching high and low for the right wheels for the 1000 SP to no avail. Well, Complex Union in Canada is literally in the next 5 weeks or so, and I'm not even done building the chassis in the car. But to further build the chassis under that body, I need to have the wheels and tires that I'm gonna run on it and underneath the body. So Elliot has a set of wheels that I've been looking for a while now. I've got my fingers crossed they're gonna work. We think they might, but since the car's not here, we don't know for sure. But Kayla and I, at a moment's notice, dropped what we were doing and ripped out here in the E23. The car handled it amazingly. We drive a bunch of river and mountain roads to get out here, so it was a nice spirited drive. In this episode, we're looking at and hopefully picking up wheels for the 1000 SP. But again, if you guys haven't seen this spot, Elliot's place is just crazy. I mean, seriously, guys, if you need any 944 parts or you've been looking for a 944, you know who to call. 944 Barn on Instagram. Hit him up. Tell him I sent you. He's got so much stuff. It's unbelievable. And all these cars are his. They're all his. There's like 60 or something. Up front by his house are the ones that are like the not for sales. I think some of these are too, but naturally, Kayla bought her 944 from Elliot, and I bought my 924S from Elliot. Because he's got plenty to spare. All right, so we're back with Elliot. Welcome back. All right, so we're currently standing in the sea of 944s up by his house, which are a whole separate collection of cars from down at the shop. Oh boy, and he's got some wheels set out. Oh boy. I like all of them.
Said you wanted to look at mesh wheels.
You got some mesh wheels out. The PCD on the Auto Union are both 5x120 and 5x130. And so since I've got the Porsche pattern, I called my Porsche buddy, and he's got some wheels. So we're going to pull some measurements, and we might pull the trigger on one of these. All right, so Elliot set out a whole bunch of different 5x130 wheels. We talked about these here. Now, I didn't say it publicly, but I'd been looking for Epsilon mesh wheels. These are a 3-piece. I had a set of these on the Lada. That was the first set I'd put on the Lada. They were 14-inch 3-piece Epsilons. They've got that great vintage mesh look. This set, as you can see with the deep lip, was going to be too much of a negative offset, too much lip to fit in the rear. There was an episode back, I don't know, a month ago where I test fit the Kragers. We kind of put a list together of the specs that will and won't work on the car. So unfortunately, those lips are too big. Well, he also had a set of these Mollies, and I would love to run a set of these RA Mollies. He's got a set of 4, and he's got 2 8s. These are my ace in the hole, the 4 7s here, these set of 7s. Down at the end here, we've got some RSs, and these are also RAs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
PBS Molly.
I really wanted to run 16s on the car. 15s are safe. 16s are all the wheel I can get, and I'm pretty sure I can still lay the body out in the back with a 16 and not touch the rear glass, because that's, insanely enough, that's like an actual problem. Is like, will the tire touch the rear window when it's aired out? But what he has here in the middle, I think we're going to pull the trigger on. Now, these are a 1-piece mesh, Belgium-made RW Machos? Macho. So some of you guys may have seen these before. I never have. They definitely resemble an RS, but they're a 1-piece center cap and waffle, or a 2-piece construction just like an RS, but the wheel itself is a one piece. These are 16s. They're 7s and 8s. And we just pulled some measurements on these here, and the back spacing will work on the back of the 1000 SP. I think we're going to go with these. I really wanted to run a European wheel on the 1000 SP since it's a European car. Now, obviously, we're not going to keep them black. Even the lip, the actual brim of the lip is black. We'd probably go more with the Epsilon Molly look. We'll do like a vintage gold, bronze center, polished lip. So we'd have to do some work to them. So I think we're going to go with these. All right, well, we got the wheels loaded up. And they're coming back out. For those of you who are screaming at the camera saying, go with the BBS Mollies, that's what we're doing. I don't know. Like, we just put the RWs in the car. I'm super jazzed up about running 16s. But the more I thought about, the original plan was to run BBSs on the 1000 SP. And he's got the 8s in the same specs as the 16s that I just bought. So, although he's only got one early Molly with the cool lip stamping, and then one later one that doesn't, I think we're still going with the Mollies. All right, so if you guys were shouting at the screen as you were watching this saying, go with the Mollies, go with the BBSs, and I didn't, you can rejoice now. So leave it in the comments if you guys like this decision. We're staying 15s, but I think it's going to be the better bet because we're not going to deal with giant height issues. I think a 16 might cause some issues in the back. All right, that's what we're doing. So we're going to take the RWs out. We're going to load the BBSs up.
And the RSs.
Yeah, and all the sets of RSs he has here. Yeah, if you're looking for 5x130 BBS RSs or any other sort of Porsche wheel, hit Elliot up. 944 Barn. Wish this was a paid sponsored ad, but it's not. I'm just kidding. We're going home with the BBSs. Elliot. Oh. Thank you as always. Oh, it's okay. It's fine. Very shortly going to be test fitting these things on the car. Keep your fingers crossed that the 8s work in the back. I really hope they do, because then we'll order tires. And we'll start building the rest of the frame.
Wow. This is like the beginning of BBS. They started in the late 70s, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's a 77.
1977, yeah.
36th week of 77. Wow. I want E50s on the Corvair or some other cars so badly.
16x9, but I only have a pair.
Man, yeah. Man, look at the wheels. Come on. So sick.
Look at this. But some of them are cracked here.
Oh, yeah.
Like right there.
These are magnesium runnels, too?
Magnesium, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's too bad. So cool, though. All right, guys. We're back at the shop. Successful drive back from Blairsville, Georgia in the E23 last night. Definitely later than we expected, but the car killed it nonetheless. And that thing has me more and more thinking about selling the W210 and daily driving E23. But that being said, we are back home with the Mollies, and so far I'm feeling like this was a good decision. My original vision for the car was to put BBSs on it. Anyway, a German wheel with a German car. I mentioned in a previous episode, that is full droop in the rear. And because there's no wheel arch, we cannot get a wheel off with the body where it's at with that full droop. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is notch the spring plate and remove the rear shock to get even more droop out of it, if the axle will even let me, to even get the wheel off. I'm gonna pull the body off now since that's all I can do now to get that rear wheel off. And we'll get these things on, we'll set the body back down, and we'll see what our offsets look like. All right guys, I've got all the body mounts unbolted, and before we take the body up, I'm gonna show you a little bit of the conundrum we're currently in with getting wheels off. The wheel wells are super shallow, and being a 13 with no tire, that's it. That's all we got. Even if you go this way, nothing. Go this way, nothing. We're in trouble. So we need more droop. We got to cross that bridge somewhat soon. All right, they look great, but are they gonna fit? No way. Okay, come with me. We're barely making it, but we're making it. And there's a second lip in there that we can always massage or cut away if we had to. Let's keep going and we'll see what it looks like set all the way down. So I haven't seen it like this yet. We set it down on the Wide 5 Steelies before I did the PCD and hub conversion. We set it down on different wheels here and there, speculatory before the frame was done. Now we have body mounts made, not finished, but made. The body's on the pan where it's gonna go. And now the suspension's in too, and we've got that all the way down. And what I did just now is I plumbed in the front strut bags to some shop air, put a Schrader valve on the end here, and use the shop compressor to lift it and then air it back down again, because I wasn't getting the full drop out of the front until I was able to put air in it and then let the air back out, and it went a little bit lower. This thing is going to be so crazy when it's down off the blocks, on tires, and laying on the pavement. Man. All right, guys, so I have my bag of all my PTC and NPT brass fittings out here. I know this here is not a DOT rated 1/8 inch NPT to 1/4 inch PTC. I do have a few in here. I do have some DOT rated ones in this bag. For now, what I'm doing is I'm installing the rear bags. I don't think the bags compressing are going to lift the car from where we had it before. I don't think. But to ensure that, I'm bolting them in. I've got one in right now. All right, guys, we're a few days into this episode, and I've been jumping around. But the main thing I'm waiting on is tires. I've ordered tires, and as you can see in the back here, I have to have tires before I build extension of the frame up and over the back to start framing in the back half of the body. So not knowing exactly, and I've pulled some measurements, but not knowing exactly if a tire is going to hit this before I build a cross member, because I want to frame in another crossbar underneath this parcel shelf. You know, I don't know if the tire's going to hit that or not. So we're waiting. We're waiting. It's Thursday now, and I think next Tuesday is when tires are going to be in. So we won't see that in this episode. But I have put the airbags in on both sides, and we have the drop that I want. So the bags have compressed to where I really want to lay the car out, which is amazing because we have shocks in and we have bags in the rear. Everything's where I want it for the drop. So since we can't build the rear until we have tires, I'm working on the front. We don't have a lot of room for a fuel cell. We can't fit a Type 1 tank like we did in the 700. The BMW 700 is on a beetle pan that's shortened by 13 inches, just about. And we're running a Type 1 beetle tank flipped around. So the fill neck is in the back part of the tank now because we don't have a lot of hood coverage. The reason why I'm doing that now is because I'm framing in the front half of the chassis inside the body. And I need to know where the fuel cell is going to go and how I can build a cradle and ultimately a frame for the fuel cell. We did some actual computer-aided design, cardboard-aided design. What this is here is I'm just trying to start a visual process of what I'm going to put in here. If the fuel cell goes up front, we have to get to these mounts here. These are two of the body mounts that are on the front beam. We've got these ones sorted out. I went to the computer and quickly designed this piece, which I'll probably cut on the CNC table out of 1/4 inch thick plate steel, and that'll span the bolt holes for the front beam mounts. I'll put a couple of bolts through, make sure everything's where it needs to be. Did we get our measurement right? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. First go. More often than not, I cut a lot of cardboard out with the laser since I have the laser, and we can waste cardboard first before we go to the CNC plasma table and start wasting steel before I have my file just right. Thankfully, since I've been doing this for a little bit, I got my cardboard piece right the first time. So basically, I made this wide because I want to put a piece of 1 inch square across the back of it, like so. And I want to have enough room to be able to get a socket down on that. And my vision for that is welding a piece of 14 gauge 1 inch square solid to a 1/4 inch piece of plate. And although I don't have one cut the right length, I do have a 90-degree bend. Because the thought is with a 90-degree bend here, I'm gonna bring another piece of 1-inch square from the top of that all the way down this lip. And then this will be able to span over the top of the steering box to our plate, like so. So that's my thought there. It would ultimately be something like that. All right, well, we're at the computer, at the CNC table. We're gonna turn this cardboard front beam body mount plate into 1/4-inch plate steel. I still have this sheet I've been cutting out of on the table. So hopefully get a one-cut deal on this thing. As you guys know, I'm still learning sheet cam and fire control, but I feel like slowly but surely getting better at it. The problem is I only use it when I need to cut something. All right, well, we get the plate all cleaned up. That looks close. All right, well, the hole spacing was right. It's a nice snug fit. So that there will be the plate that we build off of. And being 1/4-inch thick steel, that'll be plenty strong enough. All right, guys, so here is what I'm working on, and this is what I'm thinking. We've got our radius uprights. We've got a horizontal radius with our triangulated bar with another bar that goes across the firewall. That's plug welded to the inside of the firewall to the actual body. Lots of strength in there between our radiuses and our triangulation. Everything's real strong. What I've done is I've taken a couple pieces and brought them out about 23 inches and started our bend down to where some of the original body mounts were for the body on frame for the Auto Union. I don't know if I'm ever gonna have any use for this, but I'm gonna leave it here for now, just in case building the cradle for a fuel cell, you know, that'll come in handy. I'm obviously gonna build off of these as well, but I'm loving the way this is coming together. I've scribed where they're going to sit. I have to draw this line. So when I can take these out and I'll drill a bunch of holes and we can plug weld the actual sheet metal right to the bar to kind of help hold the body to that piece. And then obviously we're going to build off to our plate that we CNC cut yesterday. So this is what I'm thinking here. So something like that. This will get welded, 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 and we'll do the same up and over the steering box there. We'll probably CNC cut a gusset to go right here. Because the car is going to be driving, there's going to be a lot of shock load forward and back as well. All right, guys, well, that's about where I'm going to leave it for right now. We've got our design sorted out. We've got everything cut, bent, and welded in. There's a little bit of welding I still have yet to do. I want to weld this bar in. I'll end up having to get the body up in the air, and I'll be able to weld the backside of this too. Right now, I have the body in the pan set down just like when I test fit the wheels. So it's sitting at where it should be aired out. And I want to take more measurements in the back with the wheels in there for what I need to cut out still and how I'm going to ultimately build the back half of the frame inside the body. But for now, I am super stoked on that. But again, there's some gussets I still want to design and CNC cut. We're welded in, other than this bar on the plate, but the uprights are welded to the plate, so it's not going anywhere. And I'm pretty stoked on that. Yeah. So I'm going to end the episode there, leave you guys off with that. It's been a huge episode for this car, or at least a huge few days that have built up this episode. But we have our wheels, finally. I mean, that was just the biggest hurdle to get over. There wasn't much else I could do until I had the wheels that I was going to run on the car. And I'm so happy I did not settle. I'm so glad that I waited for a set of wheels that I really, really have wanted to own and also really wanted to see on this car. Early BBS Mollies, RAs, thank you so much to my friend Elliot from 944 Barn. I knew he'd come through for me. So it was a nice, fun trip out to Blairsville. It's always a good time driving out there and seeing him. So that's where we're going to leave off for now, guys. Next episode, we're just continuing on with the frame. We'll get back to the CNC plasma table. We'll go to the computer. We'll design some gussets. We'll design some more stuff for the frame, some more welding. We'll get this thing rigid, and we'll move on to the back, possibly in the next episode. But next episode, you may see tires. Tires have been ordered. Those are on the way. That's going to be huge because that's going to tell us if the car will actually lay out where I want it to. And that's when we'll know for sure how much of the sills I can cut out, ultimately taking the roof height of this thing lower and lower and lower. Well, that's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching and for all of your support. We'll see you in the next episode.